Hu Tao, tell me about this postmortem concept I've been hearing about in the tech world. What exactly is its role?
Postmortems are like storytelling after a tech incident. Imagine an SRE dealing with a colossal system. There's always potential for things to go wrong, right?
Of course, with such complexity, issues seem inevitable. But how does a postmortem fit into this narrative?
When something breaks or doesn't work as expected, a postmortem analyzes the incident. It's a detailed record of what happened, why it happened, how it impacted the system, and what can be done to prevent it from happening again.
So it's not just about fixing an issue but preventing it from recurring. That seems profound.
Exactly. The idea is to learn from each incident. Without this formalized process, chaos could repeat itself endlessly, making the systems and their guardians frantically attempt to manage it all.
I see. Such reflection seems valuable. Is it common practice in all tech settings?
Mostly in environments like Google's, where complex systems thrive. Many companies in the tech industry use them to ensure they address the root causes of incidents rather than just symptoms.
That sounds challenging. You must decide when to conduct a postmortem. How do you make such decisions?
The criteria. It's usually when a significant incident happens, like visible downtime, data loss, or when an engineer has to step in urgently. Setting these criteria beforehand is key.
Are there established best practices for conducting postmortems?
Absolutely. The essence is in documenting everything thoroughly, ensuring all contributing factors are understood, and implementing preventive actions to reduce recurrence. It's about making the system stronger.
In a way, it transforms a potentially negative situation into a learning opportunity.
Precisely. A postmortem isn't just a task, it's an opportunity for the entire company to evolve. It ensures that even complex systems become more robust over time.
Such an approach prioritizes learning rather than assigning blame, I assume?
Yes, focusing on learning from mistakes without laying blame is crucial. People feel more comfortable reporting issues if they know they won't be blamed.
That makes sense. How does one ensure a postmortem brings beneficial changes rather than just acting as a checklist?
By being deliberate about writing one. Time and effort are considered, so only incidents that truly warrant it lead to a postmortem. There's flexibility, but some triggers are universally accepted.
Triggers like user-visible downtime sound quite logical.
Yes, and even things like monitoring failures, because they highlight where manual interventions might have missed something crucial.
I can imagine that documenting every tiny detail might overwhelm someone handling such postmortems. How do teams handle this aspect?
It's shared across the team. Everyone plays a role, contributing data, suggesting action plans. It becomes a team's collective learning effort.
So it's a collaborative process. That must foster a sense of collective responsibility.
Definitely. Everyone gets a chance to contribute, ensuring a comprehensive understanding and better prevention strategies.
And if postmortems are not just formalities, does that mean their impact is extensive across the company?
Yes, exactly. The findings and improvements from one postmortem can elevate the resilience of other systems too, across different departments.
Intriguing. It seems like a very rigorous and thoughtful approach to managing incidents in the tech industry.
It is, and it's fascinating how guiding such processes can be. It ensures that chaos doesn't reign supreme and learning becomes an everyday part of tech.
Are there occasions when conducting a postmortem doesn't seem beneficial or is questioned?
Some might question the value due to the effort it takes. But if integrated correctly, postmortems highlight issues that can save much more in long-term operational health.
Is there more to this postmortem process than just internal fixes?
Oh, absolutely. The goal is to make the system resilient, which ensures better user experiences, indirectly contributing to broader operational efficiency.
I appreciate this insight, Hu Tao. Postmortems seem to be the unsung heroes behind stable tech.
Haha, indeed, they're like the guardians of peace in our chaotic tech universe, mindfully learning from each hiccup along the way.
It's comforting to know that issues are approached with such thoughtfulness. What other aspects should I be aware of?
There's plenty to explore, especially in how these postmortems evolve and integrate further into tech cultures. But that's a story for another day.
Hu Tao, I've heard about this idea of blameless postmortems from Google. It sounds intriguing. What's their philosophy?
Google's quite the pioneer in that regard. They emphasize thorough documentation and really digging into the root causes after incidents.
So the documentation isn't just about what happened, but truly understanding why.
Exactly. The goal is to prevent similar issues in the future with well-defined strategies. It's about learning, not just fixing.
And how do they ensure this approach remains blameless? Human nature tends to point fingers.
By focusing on the system rather than individuals, it's about finding out what in the system allowed the incident to happen, not who to blame.
That seems like it could encourage more honesty and openness.
Oh, for sure. People are more willing to report problems if they know they're not going to be blamed. It fosters transparency and brings issues into the light.
Does this mean anyone can escalate an issue without fear?
Absolutely, any stakeholder can request a postmortem. They know their input is valued and won't lead to a witch hunt.
Doesn't the blameless part make it difficult to identify where things went wrong?
Not at all. It actually makes it easier. By removing blame, people are more willing to thoroughly analyze what systemic factors contributed to the incident.
It sounds like a very progressive way to handle mistakes. Almost like seeing every problem as an opportunity.
Precisely. Instead of a mistake being a point of failure, it's a chance to make the system more robust and reliable.
Do they involve the whole team in these processes? It seems demanding to find these root causes.
Indeed, they do. It's a collaborative effort involving multiple perspectives to get a well-rounded understanding and develop strong preventive plans.
And does this methodology predominantly apply to large-scale incidents?
Primarily, yes, they focus on significant events that have noticeable impacts, but any stakeholder can advocate for a postmortem if they see the need.
So not just major breakages, but any concerning patterns or recurring issues could warrant this scrutiny.
Exactly, it's about being proactive, not just reactive.
I imagine this approach builds a stronger, more interconnected culture within the teams.
Definitely. It nurtures a culture where people feel safe to speak up and share their insights, which is invaluable for continuous improvement.
And how does this philosophy translate to actual improvements? What happens after a postmortem?
Teams create action plans based on their findings. The focus is on making systematic changes that reduce future risks.
So it's iterative learning, constantly refining and enhancing processes.
You got it. It's about evolving and improving with each incident, ensuring the tech becomes more than just patched up, stronger overall.
Does this mean the postmortem process itself evolves?
Exactly. As systems and contexts change, so do the approaches and tools for understanding them, including how postmortems are conducted.
It seems like a living practice, molded by the experiences of those who use it.
It's a great way to put it. It's all about responding to the dynamics of technology and teamwork in real time.
And in this approach, would failures ever be seen as negative, or merely as gaps that offer potential?
Mostly as potential, honestly. While they are setbacks, each incident is a step towards better reliability and innovation.
It must take strong leadership to cultivate such an environment.
Leadership encourages it, but the magic happens when every team member feels responsible and empowered to contribute to system resilience.
Which must make the whole team feel very interconnected with the outcomes.
Exactly, it knits everyone together, erasing the divide between an incident and its resolution as a communal journey.
This sounds like the makings of not just technical advances, but a vibrant organizational culture.
Oh, it absolutely is. The blameless approach and focus on learning strengthen both the tech and the teams behind it.
How frequently do they find new insights from this practice?
Regularly. Each postmortem is a treasure trove of insights, ensuring constant evolution and improvement.
This dedication to evolving even in adversity is quite admirable.
It's a rewarding process, Every hiccup is a seed for growth in this dynamic world of technology.
Thank you for sharing the essence of Google's postmortem philosophy with me, Hu Tao.
Anytime. It's fascinating to delve into how even failures can chart a path to success.
Hu Tao, in our earlier discussions about postmortems, you've mentioned the level of collaboration involved. How does Google manage this collaborative aspect so effectively?
Google's postmortem process is all about teamwork and sharing knowledge. They utilize tools that allow real-time collaboration and open commentary, making everyone feel part of the analysis.
Real-time collaboration sounds intriguing. How does it work practically?
Well, they use something like Google Docs, where team members can add their observations and suggestions simultaneously. It's like a living document that evolves as more people contribute.
I see, kind of like a shared workspace. Does this open system of commenting help in any specific way?
Absolutely. It allows for crowdsourced solutions. Anyone can jump in with insights, which improves the coverage and depth of the document. It's like a big brainstorming session on what went wrong and how to fix it.
That must foster a very open and honest environment. How do they manage the flow of information?
Information flows smoothly with email notifications. Collaborators get updates whenever there's something new to review or comment on, keeping everyone in the loop.
So there's a constant feedback loop in place. What about the review process? What does it look like?
The review process is quite formal. The draft gets shared internally, and then senior engineers examine it for completeness and clarity. They ensure key incident data, impact assessments, and root causes are all thoroughly documented.
It sounds like a rigorous check. Does this review extend beyond just collecting data?
Indeed, they also evaluate the action plan for preventing future incidents. It's important these actions are prioritized appropriately to ensure effective solutions are implemented.
How is the outcome of these postmortems communicated more broadly?
Once vetted, the postmortem is shared with a larger audience within the company, reaching teams who can benefit from the insights, ensuring everyone learns from one incident.
So sharing isn't just internal, but across different teams, correct?
Precisely. It's about transparency and using each incident as a learning instrument for the entire organization.
That emphasizes how vital this sharing is for the company. Are there any specific tools they use to enhance this transparency?
They have in-house templates that guide the process. It ensures a standardized format and makes it easier for others to follow along with the findings and recommendations.
And how do they ensure that none of these postmortems are overlooked or underutilized?
Each postmortem is reviewed thoroughly. There are regular review sessions where ongoing discussions are brought to a close, making sure no postmortem gets left behind.
That's impressive. Seems like a very dedicated approach to turning each mistake into a learning opportunity.
Exactly. And these postmortems are stored in repositories where they can be accessed when similar issues arise, making it part of an evolving learning library.
Repositories. So this isn't just a one-time review but a reference for future incidents.
That's right. Having these repositories means that knowledge from past experiences is always accessible, allowing engineers to build on previous learnings.
It sounds like a perpetually expanding base of knowledge. Does this require any particular strategy to cultivate among staff?
Definitely. It's all about creating a culture that values knowledge sharing. Management actively participates in this process, but it really shines when there's grassroots enthusiasm for collaboration.
And how does one foster such deep-rooted enthusiasm?
Engagement comes from recognition and the genuine rewarding of participation. People want to contribute when they feel appreciated and see the tangible benefits of their efforts.
So a cultural shift, not just a procedural change.
Exactly. When postmortems become a part of daily routine within the tech culture, it nurtures an environment where continuous learning is the norm, not just the goal.
In such a dynamic environment, are there new advancements or tools on the horizon for these processes?
Yes, the drive for improvement never stops. Machine learning advancements are being considered to help predict weaknesses and facilitate real-time investigations, reducing incident duplications.
Incorporating machine learning sounds ambitious. Is it to make processes more predictive?
Indeed, predictive tools could spot trends and recurring issues before they spiral into larger problems, making systems even more resilient.
Seems like they are not just focused on the present, but always looking ahead. How do they plan to integrate these advancements?
It's about embedding these insights into already existing processes, enhancing what they have without overwhelming the system. Integration is key.
So it's about enhancement without disruption. This certainly paints a picture of constant evolution.
Precisely. It makes sure that learning from incidents is not just an aspiration, but a built-in behavior of the company.
Hu Tao, now that we've talked about postmortems and collaboration, how do you foster such a culture across an organization?
Cultivating a postmortem culture is quite the endeavor. At Google, it's about continuous reinforcement and making it part of the fabric of everyday operations.
Continuous reinforcement, in what ways do they manage this?
They have various strategies like feedback surveys that gauge how well the postmortem process is supporting team goals, and if improvements are needed.
That seems thorough. How does collecting feedback improve the process?
It gives teams a voice to express what's working and what isn't. This makes the process more tailored and supportive of the actual needs of the engineers involved.
I see. And are there any incentives for contributing feedback?
Indeed. There's a significant focus on recognition. Google celebrates those who actively contribute to making the postmortem process better.
Celebrations. Could you give me an example?
Sure thing. They might highlight postmortems at company-wide meetings or newsletters, shining a light on well-executed analyses and the engineers behind them.
In acknowledging these efforts, is it just recognition, or are there tangible rewards too?
Oh, tangible rewards are part of it. They have programs where peer bonuses are given, which are like token cash rewards for exceptional efforts.
That sounds motivational. Does such recognition change how teams perceive the process?
Absolutely. When people see their efforts valued, participation naturally increases, making the culture more robust and inclusive.
How does this positive culture impact the overall user experience?
With a strong postmortem culture, Google can decrease outages and enhance user experience by learning and adapting from incidents effectively.
It's fascinating how feedback can bring about these ongoing improvements.
Yes, and continuous improvement is key. Google even looks to future advancements like integrating machine learning to refine the process further.
Machine learning? How would that come into play?
By using machine learning, they aim to better predict weaknesses and streamline postmortem insights, making the prevention of incidents even more proactive.
So it's about evolving processes with technology to stay ahead.
Precisely. It's exciting to think about how these advancements keep improving both operations and team collaboration.
How do they manage to integrate these practices across such varied teams?
Integration comes from senior leadership actively participating in the process, setting the tone for everyone else to follow.
Leadership involvement seems crucial. Does it go beyond just participation?
Oh yes, leaders also encourage self-motivation among engineers to drive these practices forward, making it a self-sustaining culture.
Ingenious. It's like creating an environment where everyone feels empowered to contribute.
Exactly. This empowerment is what makes it possible for postmortem cultures to thrive and evolve efficiently.
Do they also have specific activities that promote this culture?
Yes, activities like postmortem reading clubs and special exercises help bring these insights into everyday tech life.
Reading clubs? What do those involve?
It's where teams gather to discuss impactful postmortems over snacks, engaging in open dialogue to learn from past incidents.
That sounds not only educational but also quite engaging.
Indeed, it brings a social element into learning, making the process enjoyable and deeply enriching.
And this Wheel of Misfortune? What's that about?
It's a role-playing exercise where new SREs reenact previous incidents, learning hands-on about response and recovery tactics.
A practical exercise to embed learning, I assume?
Exactly. It immerses participants in real scenarios, adding depth to their understanding beyond just theoretical knowledge.
Such immersive practices surely make for a strong learning culture.
They do, and they're part of why Google's postmortem culture is seen as an essential element of their operational strategy. It's all about growth and resilience.
Thank you for sharing, Hu Tao. I'm inspired by how their postmortem culture transforms adversity into opportunity.
Anytime. It truly shows that with the right culture, even challenges can be stepping stones to greatness.